The college football experience, UNLV Runnin Rebels 2024 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 325 times your entry with their brand new Pick 8. Sign up, and when you do, sign up with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. Yes, they do have college football action. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get the best data-driven props and picks from Rhythm. Claim your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm.
Hey, everybody. Jim McMahon here, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Yes. Welcome to the college football experience. UNLV Runnin Rebels 2024 season preview episode. Look, one of the comments we got last year was they're not running Rebels. Yeah, they are. All right. On this show, they are. All right. Just 10 people. They're not running. You're talking about the 90 UNLV basketball team with Augment, Anthony, and Johnson, and all those other guys. Moses Scurry. No. They're running Rebels are the Rebels. All right. They're running at all times. Look, they had a fire year last year, and I ate a big old bundle of shit on that. But we're going to talk about it. YouTube.com/the college experience. Hop on over there. We're going to talk about the Runnin Rebels. Their offense, their defense, their special teams, the schedule, the roster, all that good stuff. But you're probably wondering, who the hell you're listening to, and that's fair. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
Sorry, I was just playing a good song. I am joined also by my co-host. This guy, he might have had a wager as well on the under with the Rebels. Give it up for the bet detective himself, the host of the Bottom Line Bombs podcast, Scumbagger Vance, a.k.a. CJ Sullivan. How you doing, pal?
Good, buddy. Bringing a bomb. That was a bomb in our face. The original face pissers, these UNLV Runnin Rebels. As you correctly said, we are saving democracy by still calling them the Runnin Rebels, or old names always live here. We will dead name you till they rise from the dead out here on the college football experience. That's for sure. First of all, and what's wrong with referring to the 90s Larry Johnson basketball team? You know, that was the greatest goddamn thing that came out of college sports.
Yeah, last time the whole university was relevant.
Right, no shit. Jerry Tarkanian, like goddamn dipping his toe rings into the people's daiquiris. Living. That man owned Las Vegas. But the football team pissed in our face last year. We were on the under. The fans came after us. We didn't know they were such a fiery bunch. There's a Tark. I love Jerry Tarkanian. And then, yeah, well, we were right to think so, for fuck's sake. So they've had 2 winning records since the year 2000. The last one was 2013. Before that was 2000, and offense wasn't close to this since my man Rocket Randall Cunningham was out there running around doing a run pass kick competition. But
Suge Knight was on the D line.
Yeah, Suge Knight on the D line, and They didn't get Steven Jackson, although Steven Jackson was born and raised in Las Vegas, and his personality is Las Vegas, although he went to Oregon State. But shout out to Barry Odom. They had a hell of a year last year.
Well, I don't know.
Sorry, how did they fumble the Steven Jackson
great.
thing? But no, he did a great year, and we ate shit. But
We did.
I can't help and look. I'm not gonna sit there and say they didn't deserve to hit that over. But if you watch, that Vanderbilt game,
Let it go. We can't start this off with like we were last year. We were stubborn last year with UNLV. We kept fading them, thinking it was going to balance out as they fucking pissed in our face all the way to the conference championship game.
Well, I'm just saying the UNLV game. and let's be honest, they shouldn't have been in the Mountain West Championship. Should have been San Jose State.
Well,
San Jose State beat the shit out of them.
Absolutely, that was a technicality, but I mean, come on, they put some wins up. They put some wins up. They had
some big time. Like they blew out Utah, blew out Hawaii, blew out Wyoming. Scored a win against Air Force at Air Force, which I'm still surprised by. I know that Air Force didn't have their starting quarterback, but still, that doesn't normally happen that often. But the schedule's a little harder this year. Let's just say that. All right.
A little harder, but they avoid Air Force though, and they get those two teams. They get those teams, Fresno and Boise at home. I know that.
Yeah, but I think you actually might want Air Force this year because they have about 5 returning starters, 2 on offense, 3 on defense. But let's talk about Barry Odom. Did a great job year one. I got a chance to interview him last year at Mountain West Media Day, and you know what is great about that season last year is Doug Brumfield was supposed to be their starting quarterback. I interviewed him at Mountain West Media Day. He gets injured. Jayden Maiava comes in, and he looks incredible. You know, storms back, has a big win against Vanderbilt. SEC, it just means more my ass. They complete the sweep of Vanderbilt. UNLV does. They won in Nashville. They won in Vegas. Bring on Bama. I mean, he did it with a backup quarterback in a way. So,
well, he was great though, and he's going to look even better for USC this year because that's exactly where he went.
Yeah, exactly. And and Brumfield retired, so he still had a year of eligibility. We're going to talk more about that, folks, but I want to tell you that we are the College Football Experience, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Make sure to check out the Sports Gambling Podcast as they've started their top 10 fantasy football preview series. The quarterbacks and tight ends episodes are already out and live. It's never too early for the National Football League. All right, back talking running Rebel football, and I mean, I think it was pretty remarkable what they did from a team standpoint. Like I did not see that coming, man. I would say that was one of the best surprise stories in all of college football. But where are you at with old Barry Odom? Check out these slides, by the way. Get on over YouTube.com/ the college experience.
The Captain Canva at it again.
Oh yeah,
my favorite part of the show is the Canva reveal.
Oh yeah, and Barry Odom, 34-30 in 5 years as a head coach. Remember, he spent 4 years at Missouri. 9-5 at his first season at Vegas. Former linebacker for the Missouri Tigers. Coaching tree consists of Justin Fuente, Gary Pinkel, and Sam Pulled Pork Pittman. I'll tell you this: Brennan Marion, who interviewed, what did he interview for? San Diego State, I think. They decided to go with Sean Lewis. He's a hot name right now.
I mean, that's how they set the world on fire. Is with that offense and that go offense that Marion installed in there. And I know you'd like it because it's not just a regular old chuck and duck run and shoot. It's a run first. Go. It's speed. It's as many places as possible, Chip Kelly style. But I mean, it's very run oriented.
Yeah, no, I like it a lot. I think he was doing some cutting edge stuff too. But I was surprised at the Barry Odom being a defensive guy. It was the offense. Now, great high. Remember, they had Bobby Petrino for like 2 weeks. And all of Vegas. Maybe he owed some money in Vegas, so he got out of there.
I was saying that's kind of a long time into Bobby Petrino tenures.
But yeah, I mean, so what's your take? You think this hire, like, I'll be honest, I think on this very show, I thought the hire was out of left field last year. I was like, he's got no connection to Vegas. I didn't understand it really. I mean, not that I didn't think he should have got fired at Missouri. So in that regard, okay, you got a guy that I think can coach football well, but I just thought it was a strange hire. But I was very impressed after year one.
Well, I'm very impressed. You have to be. I mean, the proof's in the pudding there. And I think it was wise for them not to have someone with a connection. Why would you want a connection with Vegas? Like we said, 2 winning seasons.
Well, not only
2000.
Vegas, but I'm saying like Mountain West or something.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
You know what I mean? That's what normally you see a lot of that. But,
Right. But you can do that with a program like UNLV when you have nothing to lose because you have none of that, nothing to fall back on, none of that history or anything of the stuff, except for the few seasons that we talked about and your face-pissing fans who like to come at us. They could start from scratch. They don't have any history. That's Las Vegas itself, the city. It has no respect for history in a good way. You know what I mean? If your your casino's not making money, you're getting destroyed. They don't give a shit. They're tearing you down and they're building something up new. So they don't care if you're new money, newer money, old money, or whatever, as long as you're money.
And Bobby Petrino, before he left, he said this.
I'm dying in this fucking country ass fucked up town.
Anyway, yeah. I mean, Vegas does erase history. They should erase their history. I mean,
That's
not since John Robinson. They haven't been relevant. Erase all that history. But I've never understood why they're not great in basketball and football nonstop. They're the only show in town. I know they have the Raiders now, but come on, that's an away game's away team's home game.
That's part of the problem, and exactly what but now they play in Raiders Stadium. Why are they doing that?
Very stupid. Very stupid. They should be playing at Sam Boyd. I will die on this hill. Mm-hmm. Sam Boyd, I think one of the better stadiums in college football. And then, they handicap themselves because they're never going to be able to pack this thing. You know what I mean? Like they don't even open the upper layer. I mean, go listen to our Stadium Heads podcast with Michael Barker, who says they don't even open it. So you're always going to be in an empty ass stadium. You know what I mean? So, I don't understand the logic there. I think if you want to create a buzz, it's like spring football. It's like, why are you playing at these NFL stadiums? Go to a smaller stadium.
Exactly.
And also it takes away your advantage. Part of that, that the heat should be your advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And by you playing in this dome, you're taking away your advantage. It's very stupid to me, but
and they do have a fan base there. Las Vegas in general, the whole city, which is it's a great city, a town of locals that are clinging for their own culture in their own town because they don't really have anything that belongs to theirs. And UNLV definitely belongs to them. It's one of the things they've always leaned on, that they've got grew up supporting. And now that gambling was allowed, that my favorite UNLV football stories when gambling was first allowed in college at UNLV, because before they wouldn't set a line in any UNLV games, and they did in the first game. It was when they were losing to Wisconsin, and then the power went out in the fourth quarter, so all tickets were void when they looked like they weren't going to cover. And then there was like 3 different stories of what happened. Like, a truck ran into a pole. Oh, we had an outage. Just take your ticket back and shut up.
And that Wisconsin game was a return game from when they went up there to Madison and upset them the year prior. It was a home and home. Look, Big Game Rebels, despite their they're not known as a football school yet, but they certainly since 1990 have some nice wins against some power programs that, like I said, they beat a top 15 Wisconsin team in Camp Randall. They recently, recently swept Vanderbilt. They got wins against a bunch of different other schools, BYU, Oregon State, Iowa State, Baylor. That Baylor game, one of the funniest games I've ever seen in my life. Baylor could knee the ball. That Baylor's inside their own 5 with the lead. They could down the ball and win the game.
Mm-hmm.
They run the ball, and the guy fumbles into the end zone. The safety takes it back 100 yards for a touchdown. The final play of the game to win. One of the funniest games I've ever seen in my life. But that's what I'm saying. They've shown a blueprint before on how to beat some big teams. And I think with Barry Odom's momentum, me and Patty C have always said, like, and Patty C, I'll give him credit because he was way ahead of the curve on Cincinnati. He was like, Cincinnati should be way better than they are. And if they just go all in on this, we've said the same about San Diego State and UNLV. I don't understand why they're not football juggernauts. They should be.
I agree. Like you said, it's a great town, great athletes, great exciting city. Worst venue to be playing for excitement level. But I don't know. Maybe it's the desert. I don't know. Who knows? But it is what it is.
The desert should be their advantage. Look at Arizona State. That's a hard place to win because of that.
Well, give Barry Odom time. Here we go. They're coming off a big winning season.
Yeah, we're going to break down the offense in a second here, folks. I want to tell you that the college football experience Runnin Rebel style is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Pick 8's now live. Create entries up to 8 picks, and Underdog will automatically double flex entries so you can miss up to 2 picks and still win your entry. With more picks to make and extra ways to win, the excitement is higher than ever. And the best part is you can win up to 325 times your original amount that you enter. So you got to hop on over there, check it out. Don't miss your chance to try it out before it's gone. Plus, if you're already a user, deposit between now and UFC 303 for your 10% bonus cash. So sign up. And when you do, sign up with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. And they do have college football action. We play it all the time when the season rolls around. Right now, obviously, summer, MLB, UFC, CFL action. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Circa Survivor and Circa Millions. Yes, Circa Sports is back with Circa Survivor and Circa Millions, giving away $16 million in guaranteed prizes. Of course, Circa contests have no rake. Circa Millions, pick 5 NFL teams ATS each week and compete for $6 million or survive the NFL gauntlet to claim your $10 million prize. Sign up in person at Circa Sports between now and September 7th and use a proxy to play from anywhere. And actually, we have a deal with football contest proxy.com to save you $50 with the promo code SGP. So check out footballcontestproxy.com. But also, look, if you don't have a trip booked for Las Vegas yet before football season, A, what are you doing? But also, may I recommend the Ultimate Contest Weekend? It's a great time to go out. You can hang out with our pals, Ryan Real Money Kramer and Sean Stacking the Money Green from the Sports Gambling Podcast, and enjoy some of the open bar events at the greatest sports book in the world, August 22nd through August 24th. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride. All right, we are back talking UNLV, the 2024 football season. But I'm very excited, Bet Detective. This is off topic a little bit.
Okay,
but I've been following. I think it's the Kings of Vegas documentary that Kings of Vegas documentary, which is coming out soon, I think, telling the story Kings of Vegas regarding the UNLV Runnin Rebels basketball team in the late 80s, early 90s with Tarkanian. I've seen they've had a bunch of different guests, from Coach K to Chuck D to just a bunch of other stuff. I can't wait to see that documentary. So keep an eye out for that, because that obviously that team with Anderson, Hunt, and everybody, so great. But
incredible. HBO did a documentary on them as well, Runnin Rebels, years ago. That is also fantastic. It was before the 30 for 30 on the Fab Five. They were the Fab Five done right. This is the Vegas team. They were obviously they weren't freshmen, but like they were the first hip hop team. They were fucking amazing. They were one of the greatest things I've ever seen in college sports in general. That UNLV team.
I love that. That's a team that made me love with college basketball. I fell in love with.
And then for that to go crumbling down with that photo of Larry Johnson in a jacuzzi with that scumbag bookie or whatever. I mean, there's nothing better. I mean, that was the most Vegas photo of all time.
Oh man,
I loved it.
Stickman with hair says, "Ain't nobody gonna watch UNLV in the hot sun." What are you talking about? You play. No one goes to the games in the dome. What are you talking about? And like, I would push back and say, look at Arizona State and Arizona. You know, they happen to reside in the middle of a fucking desert as well.
And it gets the fall. Well, yeah, we're not going to go catch out 3 days, but
it's not that hot in the fall and winter months. It's hot in like September. So you schedule those at night, but even that's your advantage because it's hot as fuck and it's a dry hot. By doing that, you take away your advantage, but. Anyway,
a dry hot.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that documentary though. I'll say that. And
fantastic. Also comment there. I see Maxis wants me to go to DC. That's a campaign that he's referencing that I would say on the bottom line bombs. You might agree with me, Colby. Now, every time there's gambling laws, speaking of that fixing thing, the UNLV Wisconsin game, and you got point shaving. It's always the sports books that come out with, hey, we report it, and they work with the government, for all the rules. But never once is the side of the gambler represented. It's just the bookmakers. You know,
Very true. Very true.
No other field is that done where the client, the customer is not represented at all, except for in gambling. So we need a gambling representative, and I think who better than Mr. Smith Goes to Washington than the bet detective Narcovelli over here.
I would love to see that. You just up there preaching about that.
Absolutely.
I've always thought, back to like Rick Ross and stuff, back in the Reagan era where they were using, they were selling drugs to fund their own private war in Nicaragua. Couldn't you see a government? Couldn't you see a government just doing that shit like via gambling, sports gambling?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
It's happening. It's probably already happening.
I will go. I'll do the march. I already took the road to Vegas. I'm on now. Now I'll take it all the way to DC if I have to.
Follow the bet detective at CJ Sullivan _ his campaign starting soon. Let's talk about this offense because they were fire last year. 22nd in scoring per game, 34.4 points per game. That was top in the Mountain West. From a yardage standpoint, though, they were third in the Mountain West, 42nd in the nation. From a passing standpoint, 55th in the nation and 5th in the Mountain West. Also 43rd in rushing in the nation and 6th best in the Mountain West. So first best in scoring, top half and everything else offensively. Unbelievable turnaround from the year prior. Any of those stats surprise you? I mean, first in scoring, right?
Sure. No, of course. No, the offense was great. It was that go offense that Marion put in there, and Odom obviously has a huge part in it as well. When I originally look at this offense, I mean, they had a great year last year. Obviously, you expect a little regression because they never scored points like this. They lost their quarterback. They lost their running back as well. I think they'll be able to replace him. Not replace, but keep up some of the posts. I don't know if they'll be able to keep up these numbers, but I don't see a huge drop off coming.
I think it all matters with the quarterback spot because they lose Jayden Maiava, and like I said, Doug Brumfield retires. Maiava heads over to USC. Some other offensive losses, I know you mentioned the running back spot. Davis graduated, but as far as transfers, they lost a few other guys. I mean, losing an offensive lineman to UCLA and Alani Michaela, and Charlie Williams at the tight end spot for Colorado, but he didn't even do anything last year, really.
Yeah.
Seneca McKee to Coastal Carolina. They didn't lose a lot of huge pieces as far as big name, but the quarterback spot is huge.
Quarterback and running back, which are the two most important for this offense as well. But I will say they have three guys battling for the spot, so that's healthy. Nice, healthy competition.
Well, and those guys, first off, they returned Ricky White, who's a fucking stud at wide receiver.
I mean, that's the name. He's one of the best receivers in the country.
Yeah, came over from Michigan State a few years ago.
1483. How many yards he had last year? That's crazy.
And
he's an All-American candidate.
Yeah, he's the real deal. He's out of Georgia, if memory serves me correct. But they bring back 3 of 5 on the offensive line. They also bring back wideout Jacob D. Is that Jesus? Jesus, I believe.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, the offense, at least you got your line of scrimmage back. And I will say, I did like what they did in the portal. Matthew Sluka was a stud at Holy Cross.
He's my favorite to lead the quarterback battle there.
But Hajj Malik Williams can play too. The Camels transfer.
Absolutely, but he was not the Patriot League Player of the Year that Sluka was, baby. Purple Crusaders.
Both were good FCS quarterbacks. They also brought in Dylan Motrotra from Southern. Probably butchering your name, Dylan. My apologies. I'll tell you this: Michael Allen from NC State. Now it's always great to leave the pussy pack in NC State, but he impressed me. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. One of those years, he impressed me. So I think that's a nice get. They get Jayden Bradley, a wideout from Charlotte. Casey Cain from Texas. Getting a Texas wideout's always good for your program.
I was going to say, that's one I like to keep your eye on. Casey Cain to step up along with DeJesus to offset. Get all those open. Ricky White will get all the coverage, and open it up for Cain and DeJesus. Christian
Moore coming in from Kansas State at the tight end spot, and offensive lineman Nick Scalise from UTEP, the Miners. I mean, I think they did pretty well, judging by the offense right there. We're going to talk about what they did in the defense on the defense side of the ball, but I actually think, obviously you'd like to retain Maiava. That's such a huge hit, but considering you got two very experienced FCS quarterbacks, you got three FCS quarterbacks, but two I think are super experienced. Michael Allen, I like. Casey Cain, I like, and I think they did a pretty damn good job considering.
And even returning from the team itself, quarterback, you have Cameron Freed, who was the third quarterback last year. He'll be in the mix to start there, obviously. And running back, that Jayden Thomas, was that his name? The freshman last year. He had 12 touchdowns, 500 yards, but he's obviously going to step up this year as a sophomore in that too, Phil. That's why I don't think the drop off is going to be huge. And like I said before, I'm a fan just like you are, that Matthew Sluka.
Gotta love it. I was surprised he went here. I thought he was going to go to JMU following his coach Bob Chesney, but he didn't. But hey, get a bag of cash. Go out to Vegas,
get some chips, put them on the table,
get a prostitute, get whatever you want. You know what I mean? Let's talk about the defense, because this is the shocking thing here. Well, actually, hold on. Before I dive into that, I want to tell you folks out there that the UNLV season preview episode on the college football experience is brought to you by Rhythm. If you're betting on player props, then you need to download Rhythm. Rhythm is the go-to sports betting tool that transforms complex data into actionable insights, empowering bettors with smarter, data-driven decisions. Unlike other platforms, Rhythm combines advanced predictive analytics with an intuitive user experience, making betting both easy and enjoyable. And Rhythm's predictive models were born from the brains of MIT data scientists and quants with over 3 years of data that help drive you to better AI-backed betting decisions. So claim your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. All right. Yeah. Looking at the Rebels defense a year ago, this is Barry Odom's forte. I was a bit surprised by these numbers because, I guess the rush defense was solid, but 86 in the nation in scoring defense, giving up 28.6 points per game. That was 7th best in the Mountain West. 103rd in yards, 415.5 yards per game. That was 7th best in the Mountain West. 111th in pass defense, 253.5 yards per game. 8th best in the Mountain West. And then the rush defense charting at 89th, 4th best in the Mountain West. But surprise, I thought the defense would be the stronger thing coming into last season, but obviously that was not the case. And Barry Odom's a defensive guy. Can he fix it? Will the players understand his defense a little bit more in year 2?
I think it goes hand in hand with that offense, though, too. It's tough to have. It puts a lot of stress and strain on your defense when your offense is so fast-paced, go, especially if it dies out in the series, even if it scores, when it's speed, just more plays makes you more tired. That's just the way it's going to be. And there's going to be more stats let up against you. So it's, as far as tempo goes, it's going against them already just with the offense. But they return, 7 starters. 3 of them are all conference, including Jackson Woodward, who's obviously the best player.
Came over from Arkansas where he was with Odom. Yeah, I think that's a very good.
Jalen Dixon you have up there. He's a stalwart up there, defensive end. They brought in, I think is that guy from the portal who's the guy from A&M they got in there?
Tony Grimes at the cornerback spot. They brought in him. They did a great job on the defensive side of the ball in the portal, but they returned Dixon and Martinson on the defensive line, Jackson Woodard, their stud linebacker, as well as Marcel McDuffie. Yeah. Cameron Oliver back at the cornerback spot, strong safety Jonathan Baldwin back. But they go out and get, I thought they did
Doyle,
a great job.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. Jackson State, but he was an A&M before. That's what I was thinking of. Antonio Doyle was at A&M, then Jackson State with Prime, and then he comes on over. But him and Dixon will be a great defensive end tandem.
Yeah, and Navarrete coming in from the Oregon Ducks. They've been very solid on the line of scrimmage lately. But he brings in a bunch of his old guys. Manny Powell coming in, linebacker from Arkansas. He also brings in Ladarius Bishop from Arkansas. And pay attention to in the secondary from Arkansas. Malik Chavez coming in, but also Jalen Catalon. This is a guy that was at Texas last year. Before that, he was at Arkansas. He was a very good player 2 years ago. Last year, kind of had a setback, but he gets the opportunity to come back. I love what they did in the portal. Also, DeCambra from Oregon as well in the secondary, as well as Jarvis Ware from UCF. I'm going to say, despite losing their quarterback, I think they won the transfer portal.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. They're top heavy and missing, but the depth they got throughout it, they won. They lost a name, but I think they'll be able to replace it, at least help replace it. But all depends on your attitude, how you look at it. You know what I mean? Like I said, a trade. Did you get the best players? You lose the best player. But as far as depth goes, yeah, I would definitely say they won because you know what? UNLV's a program, like you're saying, maybe it's becoming a much more attractive place to go to, and they saw those numbers they put up there. You know?
Yeah, and I mean they lost Clay Patterson to Stanford, but he never even played for them. He came in and then transferred out. Xavier Carter going to UCF. The big one there is Ricky Johnson to Michigan in the other corner, and Jare Williams to Wazoo. But I still think they won the portal. Also lost Cameron Jenkins to Baylor in the secondary, but I still think, like I said, they won that portal.
Yeah, for sure.
I like it. So let's talk about this. 7.5 is the win total. Mountain West Championship plus 550. 80-1 to win the Natty. Your thoughts? Do any of those stand out to you? By the way, that's juice to the under. Believe it or not, that is
7.5.
Yeah, over 7.5 plus 125. The under's minus 160. Before we go game by game on the schedule, do you think, is there one that just stands out to you right there that you say, hey, Mountain West Championship, right? Or what do you think?
I mean, 550. It's weird. I mean, obviously we want the prices from last year. They're gonna be much inflated because of last year's. But it's deserved. I mean, those numbers were somewhat legit. I expect them a little regression. I expect them to come down. So, looking at it just overall, without even making a deep dive, I'm probably leaning towards the under. And I don't even want 550 is not even enough for me to sprinkle on it.
Yeah, well, the thing that stands out schedule, youtube.com/the college experience. But how about that old logo, by the way? Isn't that logo fire? They need to bring that shit
back. Love that Rebel.
Yeah.
Bring him back, baby.
Yeah.
Yes.
Last year's schedule was a lot easier, in my opinion. I know they had Michigan on the schedule, which Dundee, how could you say that? Well, Vanderbilt's ass, right? They were a 2-win team. Also, UTEP, Hawaii, Nevada, Colorado State, New Mexico, all on the schedule, all losing teams from a year ago. This year's schedule, when you look at it, there's a couple things that I hate about it if I were a UNLV fan. You get basically 3 Power 5s in the non-con compared to last year where you got UTEP and Vandy. Vandy was the worst Power 5 in all of. They have the worst win total of all the Power 5, and they were the worst last year. But then you also get the new coaches in November, where I always think new coaches turn a corner in November. I think normally September and October is growing pains. They get Sean Lewis at San Diego State, November 16th. They get Ken Niumatalolo at San Jose State, November 23rd. They get Jeff Choate at Nevada for the Fremont Cannon Trophy. The big ass cannon, best trophy in sports, on November 30th. So those are all that's concerning to me. And then, and by the way, the number on the right, if you're wondering what that is, I power ranked what were the hardest games 1 through 12 to me. I don't know. I just feel like this is a much harder schedule than a year ago because you're getting, here's another thing. You're getting 3 Power 5s and Oregon State. So technically 4 Power 5s from, because Oregon State still is recruiting at a P5 level. So it's like, okay. Even that they get on October 19th, where I feel like they gave him a little bit of time to figure it out. Now they do get a new coach week 1, Willie Fritz coming into Houston. This is a pivotal game, August 31st at Houston. I think the look ahead line is Houston -3. I'll take Houston to get this done, but I think it's anyone's game. I wouldn't shock me if UNLV got this done. But I think Willie Fritz is a very good coach. And nowadays with the portal, as you see so many Arkansas guys coming over with Barry Odom and first-year success at UNLV for him, it's easier for first-year success because a bunch of Tulane players went over to Houston. So I lean Houston, but I think the spread is probably accurate. I would lay it, push comes to shove. I don't love that play, but what do you think of that first game?
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be first game, new quarterback, and all that. That's a tough game to open up with, for both sides. Like you said, it's a toss-up. I'm not too strong heavily. I'm gonna give Houston the win here, though.
Yeah, week 2, Utah Tech comes to town. Now I know Bryant. They opened up with Bryant last year, and Bryant was solid in the FCS, but Bryant's also located in Rhode Island. Utah Tech, you might have some guys that weren't recruited by UNLV saying, "Hey, what the hell?" But they'll beat Utah Tech at that.
Side note: how they'll definitely beat Utah Tech. Blow through that. How is Bryant looking this year? By the way, I know you were a Bryant expert. You're brought on as a Bryant expert on the Bryant.
I
podcast.
was the Barking Dog podcast. Check it out.
Yes,
but they're going to be pretty solid. They lost their starting quarterback to Washington State though, and he's going to start at Washington State, I think.
All right.
But they brought in Jared Guest coming over from Coastal Carolina. So I think they'll be pretty solid in the FCS there. But Utah Tech is another one that brought in, I believe they brought in a decent transfer portal class, but I still think you got to take UNLV here, even though no one will be at this game. Your thoughts?
No thoughts at all. UNLV. Move on.
Yeah. Week 3, they head to Kansas. Now, Kansas is renovating their stadium. This is the most Kansas thing to do. You've been such a bad program over the past 30 years. You're a playoff contender this year. Like you have a legit chance, and you don't have a home stadium. You're playing all your conference games are at Arrowhead. This is at like the soccer stadium somewhere over there. The not like the MLS soccer, not the Kansas soccer. A little bit of an advantage for UNLV. It looks better than it did a couple years ago, but I'm taking Kansas. Leipold and them beat them in the bowl game, and they beat them without Jayden Daniels. Jayden Daniels is healthy, one of the better quarterbacks in college football. I got the Jayhawks putting it on them.
I got a 50-1 Daniels Heisman ticket ready to fucking roll. Put that on the road to 10 million if he stays healthy, which is huge. Which he should be healthy week 3.
Yeah, shout out to Stickman Hair who says Greg Burrell, the freshman running back, looked really good during the spring showcase. There we go.
All right, there we go. I mean, there's room for all those young running backs there at UNLV in this go offense. But yeah, it's a tough start. First week of the go. We got them 1-2 going into the bye week.
Yeah, and then they're home to Fresno State. Now they kept it within a touchdown, but that was a little deceiving. I thought Fresno had a pretty big lead at one point in that game.
Yeah, but this is a big revenge game. I like this game coming off the bye here at home. We have 1-2 coming into this. Fresno, very good. A little down, not sour on them this year, but I don't know. I think it's a big revenge spot. I got UNLV winning this game.
I got Fresno getting this. I think Tedford and Fresno are much better. If anything, last year he had Mikey Keene year 1. Now, if Maiava was back and it was year 2 in the offense, I would say, hey, maybe they got something. But if anything, Mikey Keenan, I think their whole offensive line or 4 out of 5 offensive line return for Fresno. That's the difference for me. Give me Fresno to get this done. I got them 1-3, but then the Syracuse Orange Men come to town, and that is one.
Another face pissing team. This one.
Well, this is one of the more interesting teams this year because if go look at what Syracuse brought in. Obviously, Fran Brown, they bring him in. He was part of Kirby Smart's staff there. He's the new head coach for Syracuse, but they bring in Kyle McCord, which was a huge big-time recruit by Ohio State, Kyle Honda McCord. And, the guy, say what you want about him. He didn't play horrible last year. He only lost one game. And then they brought in a shit ton of Georgia players, man. If you had told me based on last year, I think UNLV was better than Syracuse. But I also think this year's Syracuse team is so much more talented. I think they got a couple Bama guys, a couple Texas guys. I don't know if Fran Brown can coach. He's got to prove it to me, but I do think this Syracuse team on paper is better than the UNLV team. And they probably will have the crowd. What do you think? Will UNLV have the crowd? I can see Syracuse fans saying, let's go to Vegas for the week.
I know that's the difficulty with all UNLV
and Raider games. Same situation. I went to a Raider game. It was like the whole Ravens crowd was there. You know what I mean?
You're hosting 8 road parties for the your schedule in the NFL with the Raiders. That's what it is. And with UNLV, you can do it too. These places, especially when you're playing teams from the duller places, like that's why it was full with Packer fans and shit. And that's where you go upstate New York. Why wouldn't they want to go to Vegas in October? Watch Syracuse play, but. I don't know. I'm going to give UNLV a little credit here. I'm not ready. I'm not. Yeah, they bring in more talent, but I'm not. I hate this Syracuse team. With it, they were full of a luck boxes last year or two. I got UNLV rolling out of the bye here, so we got them at. I got them at 3-2. You have them at 2-4. Do you have them now?
Dude, I think Syracuse is okay. I'll give them this. I'll say one of these ones they get. Syracuse is probably the one, but they could very easily be 1-4. Like they could be 1-4 here easily.
Okay.
Because I actually think they'll probably be a dog in all four of those.
Yeah, I mean it's good to have these at home for sure.
Yeah,
to have Fresno at home, the Syracuse at home, and as we come up, Boise at home. These are teams those are the games you want at home.
After that, they head to Logan, Utah to take on Utah State. It's a hard schedule, man. All these teams are both. If you throw away the FCS game, they get 4 Power Fives, and then their first three conference games are against bowl teams.
The schedule's lit. It's tough going into the first bye, and it's just as tough going into the second bye. It eases up toward the end, but it's a gauntlet early on.
I'll take them to get this one.
Yeah,
I don't feel great about it, but I
can see them dropping this one. I'm gonna have them lose this one.
So I got them at 3 wins right now.
You have them at 3-4. I have them at 4-3. This is a tough one. I think after back-to-back home games at Utah State, I have them losing.
They're not going to win in Corvallis.
No, they're not winning in Corvallis. Yeah. Not much analysis here. Tough game here at Oregon State. Back-to-back road games. I have them dropping both still. So that's at 4-4 now.
Yeah, and I got them at 3-5. Then they're home to Boise State, 3-6.
This one I think they can get to though. I like this Boise State game at home, but. Boy, I'm pretty high on Boise State. I like Boise State this year.
I think Boise will have the crowd, and I also think Boise is going they fucked them up last year, and I think Boise's better this year. The things they did in the portal.
Yeah, Boise's gonna be really good this year. But this is a game. It's kind of a get right game right before the bye that they're gonna be up for. So I think it'll be close. But like you said, the crowd will have in Vegas. I hate having them lose 3 in a row, but we gotta do it.
Yeah. I mean, then they get a bye week, and then they're at Hawaii on the island. This I will give them a win, even though I think they're a bowl team. I think Hawaii's a bowl team this year.
Yeah, and at Hawaii is always a tricky spot, no matter what. They obviously and they play better at home, for sure. It's not just you traveling there and getting to a frame of mind. They play better at home, but I have them coming off 3 losses there, tough losses. The bye week to get them right again. And they're going to right the ship, and I think they're going to run the board coming out of the second bye week. So winning at Hawaii.
Then they are hosting San Diego State and Sean Lewis, and I don't know about you, but I'm pretty bullish on that Sean Lewis hire. I got the Aztecs coming in there and taking care of business.
I like the hire. I did not have them coming here and they're taking care of business. Not this year.
I think they're going to be a sleeper in the Mountain West this year.
Maybe a little jet lag coming back from Hawaii could be that.
Then they head to San Jose for to take on Ken Niumatalolo and the Spartans. I will give them this one.
The non-option running Talimalo Spartans.
Yeah. I'll give UNLV this one.
Oh, I got UNLV. I have UNLV being Hawaii, San Diego State, and San Jose State, and then they finish up with home in Nevada. We all know this rivalry.
Loved this rivalry. Glad to see that the Mountain West corrected this and put this on the final week. The past couple of years it hadn't been. I got them beating Nevada, but I don't feel that great about the final 4 games, dude. Even though they should be favored in probably all 4 of them.
Yeah,
I feel like Hawaii is a team. We had June Jones on the show just 2 weeks ago, and he's raving about that quarterback, Shager Bombs, Braden Shager Bombs. I do think Hawaii is got. This is the year they make a bowl. Year 3 of Timmy Chang, and then I really think you're going to see San Diego State, San Jose State, and Nevada play much better in November. I'm taking them to beat San Jose State and Nevada, which puts me at what? So Hawaii, San Jose State, Nevada, Syracuse, Utah State 5, 6. I got them at 6-6. And
I think you have about 5 wins.
No, Utah Tech, Syracuse, Utah State, Hawaii, San Jose State, Nevada.
Oh, that's right. 6. You had Utah State over mine. That's where we differed there. Because I have them at 7 wins.
But I leaned with me saying 6. I think they're closer to 5 wins than 7 wins.
Yeah, I'm definitely maxing out at 7. I don't see how to get above that. So if you got a win total at 7.5, I think that's a pretty solid play at the under there. I have them. Well, let's just recap real quick. I have them going 1 and 2 to start off there. We both do. I have them beating Fresno. I have them beating Syracuse, losing those 3 road games. So that is what, 3 and 4?
Yeah.
Or 1, 2, 3 and 5.
It's
4 and
not
5 versus Hawaii. Yeah, then winning the next 4. So that's 7 and 5. I have them.
It's not out of the realm
4.
of possibilities for them to get their first FBS win after their second bye week. Do you think they'll be favored in any of those games? Like, the first all the way until November. Like we know they're we know they're a 3-point dog against Houston.
Right.
Throw the FCS game out of there.
Right. Sure. Fresno State. They'll be. Dogs.
I think they'll be dogs. Syracuse. They'll be a short dog. Utah State. Maybe.
Yeah, they will be.
They'll be dogs, right?
At Utah State?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
And then they're going to be dogs at Boise. You think so? I don't think so, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I have them maxed out. And I think they're winning I think they're winning those last 4 games though after that second bye. I'll lock that up 7 and 5.
It's easy to see a tide turn.
I'm locking up the under. I feel great about the under.
Is that what they play? 12 games, right? Am I counting?
Yeah. 12 games, yeah.
Is my math
games.
right? Math? All right. 7 and 5 UNLV face pissers after a great season. I saw you brush by the roster, by the way. If this doesn't get you to 7 wins, Marshall Nichols, their punter, 47.1 yards per punt, baby. I know you love these kickers. And they return Marshall Nichols, maybe one of the best punters in the conference.
Hey, look, they're gonna need him because this schedule's fucking brutal.
It is a tough schedule.
The schedule, I've previewed. This is at the end. We have all the Mountain West team previews out, with the exception of Wyoming and Utah State, and we have all the SEC previews out. Now, obviously, the SEC is a different style of beast right there, but in the Mountain West, in my opinion, this is the hardest schedule I've done on the Mountain West so far.
Yeah, tough schedule. And it's what it's what comes with what they did last year. Not really. Schedules are made years in advance, but the point is, it's what happens.
Not the conference schedule though. Conference schedule is that's
always changing. But you know what I mean. It's not like the NFL where oh no, you got a first place schedule. No, you get the schedule you make. So, but they had a great year. I like Odom. I like what they did. The offense, I think a little regression's tough schedule. I have them at 7 wins. I don't see them getting to 8. That's for sure. But they'll be exciting again. I can't wait to see what they do.
I want them to go to a bowl to build this thing. I would like to see them become a giant.
We all know you're a hater of UNLV. We all
the Sam Boyd thing just drives me fucking insane. Like, why would you do this? And why would you make this deal where you can't play at anything? You can't even have a fucking concert there or a monster truck madness. That's part of the deal with Allegiant is that you can't have that. It's a crazy deal, but. I think they're underdog. I think they're favored in 4. If you add Utah Tech, 5 games this year. So to me, they're gonna have to pull an upset to even go bowling. I got them at 6 and 6. I think they will pull an upset.
I do too. I still got them at 7-5. I'm a little more bullish on them.
But I'm actually gonna bet this. Are you gonna bet this under?
Well. I'll be in Vegas. I'll be cashing my road to 10 million. I'll put it in my portfolio. Sure.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it.
Plus, we owe those fans.
That is true. Those fans came for us last year,
and they were right.
They were right, folks. That's our show.
Yes.
Make sure you subscribe to us. We're breaking down every single college football team, all 134 teams with a podcast for each and every team in the land. Give UNLV the same amount of attention, or Tulsa the same amount of attention that we do to Alabama or Tennessee or Michigan or whatever. So check it out, folks. We got Utah State and Wyoming left in the Mountain West, and then we're on to the Big Ten. Give CJ Sullivan a follow on Twitter at CJ Sullivan _ Check out the Bottom Line Bombs podcast and the Sports Gambling podcast that CJ's a regular on.
Lacrosse show today. Your favorite.
PLL. There you go. Go bet some lacrosse. There's some sharp edges with the Bet Detective.
It sure is.
So hop on over there and check that out. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. The College Football Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Let us know your thoughts about UNLV. Tell us what you think their record will be. Hey, hop in that chat. Let us know. Post a comment. Hop on over to iTunes. Give us a 5-star review. That always helps. YouTube.com/The College Experience. Watch all these shows. I highly recommend that. And get the SGPN app. It's free to download in the App Store and Google Play Store. Shout out to the chat. Under it is Keenan McCardle's not walking through that door, says Feach. I'm with you. Lock it up. Let's go. Let's make some cash. Hoping for the best for UNLV sports, though. All right. I want to see that documentary, Kings of Vegas. Go check it out, folks. Until next time, this is the College Football Experience, running Rebel style. Get your ass back to Sam Boyd. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot.